Welcome back, everybody. Hope you're all doing all right. Circle back with you for another flight on Microsoft Flight Simulator, of course. Last time, we had a few issues with our stream. For some reason, it reset on us 3 times, so we ended up with 3 different videos, all encompassing one stream. Hopefully, we don't have that kind of problem. It'll just be one continuous stream today. We went from Cancun, Mexico, back to our home hub airport of Atlanta. Today, we are leaving from Atlanta on our way to Dallas-Fort Worth for should have a continuation flight after that. Haven't figured it out yet. Maybe continue on all the way to the West Coast, possibly LAX, or we could head up to Salt Lake City, Portland, Oregon, Seattle. We're just going to play it by ear. So let's go ahead and dive in. Right now, we are cold and dark. I have already taken the liberty of filling out our flight plan, getting all that stuff ready so you don't have to wait around for that. As always, we are flying on VATSIM. We do have Atlanta Center online. I have pre-filed my flight plan, but they have not given us a pre-departure clearance. So we're going to see what happens there. What's going on, Mr. C-Note? I caught your stream yesterday when you were playing Call of Duty and Dead by Daylight after that. I just wasn't able to chat. But I watched the whole time. I was there in person. I was having some issues with my stream, so I didn't really have too much opportunity. Alright, so we're cold and dark. Let's go ahead and get her ready for the startup. Battery 1. Got all my switches and everything ready. Battery 2 on. Connect external power. How's it going, Footmouth? It's the first time I think I've seen you. Welcome into the stream. Yeah, it looked like y'all were. I haven't really gotten into Call of Duty for a very long time. Appreciate it, man. Footmouth, glad to see you. If you're not, well, I believe you're on Twitch. If you're not followed to the channel, would really appreciate that. If you like Microsoft Flight Simulator content, let's go ahead and get this plane ready to go. Emergency exit lights on. Seatbelts, no smoking lights. Let's go ahead and turn up some light here. Over to the fly pad, get that turned on. Go ahead and get our plan from SimBrief. Atlanta to Dallas. General information. Go ahead and connect the jetway and baggage. Get this plane all boarded up. Alright, down to the MCDU. Let's go ahead and pull up our flight plan. Dallas to Fort Worth. Back to AOC. See, we're going to be using 6.9 for our block fuel. We'll load that in. I'm semi, so you won't see other people playing Microsoft Flight Simulator unless they're in the VATSIM group. So, quasi-online. It's not online to everyone, just who's logged in and flying on VATSIM network. Alright, 6.9, make sure that was loaded. Page over for our baggage weights. Go ahead and load that in. Init page, init request. Get all our data here.
2790 turning, final for 2.
Switch frequencies there. Gonna need to be on, well, never mind. Looks like Atlanta Center just logged offline, so we'll keep it on Unicom. All right, all that's ready. Page 2, 0 fuel weights. Block fuel was 6.9. Are you in Delta Virtual? Or are you just randomly going to fly beside me? I'm in a virtual airline, that's why I asked. All right, it's ready to go. Perfs page. Taking off in flaps 1. Get V1 speed. Oh, they don't want it does that. Clicking too fast. There we go. All right, head over to the approach. And I know this, I'm in the fly-by-wire version of the A320, the A32XN, they call it. So, trying to remember how to get the printout. I thought it was
the 1306. This is the Spirit
8
74
is.
right next to you. You can take off first, sir. I'll be holding at the crossover.
The 2094 is turning for a 10-mile final for runway 27 mustard, line of traffic.
There we go. Yeah, it just takes a little while. So we'll go ahead and print that out. All right, back to approach. All right, QNH data for Dallas-Fort Worth is 3011. Temperature is 23 degrees Celsius. The wind is 160 at 11. Transition altitude, we'll just do 18,000. And we'll get the minimums for the barometer when we get there, just in case they have us switching to a different runway. All right, we'll head over to flight plan. Got our Atlanta departure in there.
Spirit Wing 74 taking off behind the Delta 1306 once we clear this runway.
We're going to be taking off on runway 27 right. And that's going to be the Cajun 2 departure with a STNGA transition. Go ahead and insert that in there. All right, let's get the rest of the lights on.
Got the 2894 on a 5-mile final, runway 27 left, dead line of traffic.
Try to do this as quickly as possible. Let's go put the floodlights on. That works. All right, so we're going to switch the dial over to plan. Zoom out to about 20 nautical miles and click through our waypoints. Make sure everything looks good for our SID and our route. Straight into Dallas-Fort Worth. Everything looks good.
Atlanta traffic, Spirit Wing 74, taking off runway 27 right. Atlanta traffic, 78 is on approach, 57 right.
A lot of talking.
Atlanta traffic, Spirit Wing 74 will be holding short then for the arrival traffic. Oh, dude, you have time. I'm just saying.
All right.
Are you 20?
You got time to go now.
Everything's good to go here. We're just ready for startup and pushback. So we're going to go ahead and
Spirit Wing 74 taking off runway 27 right.
disconnect the jetway. Call the tug over. There they go. Let's
Make
start
a
our
takeoff.
boarding announcements with our flight attendants. Make sure we're all ready to go.
Welcome aboard, everyone. Before we get moving, please be sure to fasten your seatbelt, return your seat back and folding trays to their full upright position, and store your carry-on luggage in either an overhead bin or under the seat in front of you. If seated next to an emergency exit, please read carefully the instructions
Hey,
located
can you
in
bleed, Master?
If you do
Start.
not wish to perform the functions described in them in the event of an emergency, please inform the flight attendant so that they may reseat you. We request that all portable electronic devices such as mobile phones or laptops be either turned off or put in airplane mode at this time. This is because these devices may interfere with the aircraft's navigational and communication equipment. We will inform you when you may continue using these devices. We would like to remind you that smoking on board this aircraft is prohibited by law.
Unless you're the captain.
Tampering with, disabling, or destroying lavatory smoke detectors. If you have any questions about
I
this
smoke
flight
and drink.
today,
I like the fun
don't
flights.
hesitate to ask myself or another flight attendant. Have a great flight.
All right, let's go ahead and get our local altimeter. We don't have any ATIS information on VATSIM, unfortunately, so for the most current, so 3014, that sounds good enough.
Atlanta traffic, Fear Wing 34, passing 1,000 feet, clear of all runways, Atlanta.
Delta 2894 is vacated 27 left.
Atlanta traffic up 27.9 DM. Taxiing across 27 right.
Ignition to start. Start engine 2.
Delta 2894 is going to be following the company traffic crossing 27 north.
So we're right about here. 27 right. So we're going to be heading down to the end of the ramp here. And turning left on Lima to Lima Bravo. Unless there's more traffic in there, we can line up Lima Alpha, Lima Charlie. Seems like it's clearing up. There's a little wait there just a moment ago. All right, engine 1 is just about ready. Got the click. All right, start engine 2 and go ahead and start our pushback.
Delta 1306, taking off via 27 right.
Have a safe trip.
On behalf of the captain and crew, welcome aboard.
Get our
the
taxi
flight.
lights on.
Make sure your seatbelt is fastened. Return your seat back to trays to their full upright position. Also, please turn off all electronic devices. Thank you.
I do not know why, but for some reason in this plane, after we take off, that tail light goes out when I kill the taxi lights. I do not know why that is.
Atlanta traffic, Delta 78 on final 27 right.
Ooh. Like the control had a lot of work on their hands. There's a lot of traffic around here. It's unfortunate they had to log off. We didn't get a replacement, but we'll make do.
Delta 1306, passing 2000, clear of runway 27 right.
Just pay attention to who's taking off, who's landing. So we're using the same runway. Both engines should be started, so we'll go turn off our bleed and our master, and ignition back to normal. Finish our turn. Go ahead and end the pushback. Wait for the truck to get out of the way. We'll be departing, taking off straight to 10,000 feet according to the SID. And let's go ahead and take her down to the end of the concourse here. We'll call in
If I can get everyone's
to Unicom
attention,
for
we will
our
now
taxi.
review safety information regarding the flight today. When you see the seatbelt sign illuminate, you must fasten your seatbelt. Insert the metal fittings, one into the other, and tighten by pulling on the loose end of the strap. You can release your seatbelt by lifting the upper portion of the buckle. It's preferred that you keep your seatbelt fastened throughout the flight in case of turbulence. There are several emergency exits throughout this plane. Please take a moment to locate your closest exit. In some cases, your nearest exit might be behind you. If we need
There we
to
go.
evacuate the aircraft, floor-level lighting will guide you toward the available exit. Doors can be opened by moving the handle in the direction of the arrow.
Atlanta traffic, Delta 778, currently taxiing taxiway Lima to Lima Charlie, holding short for
Oxygen and air
traffic.
pressure are always monitored throughout the flight. If the compression
Traffic
occurs,
still
not
78
the
on
mask
profile.
will fall from the ceiling in front of you. To start the flow of oxygen, pull the mask towards you and place it firmly over your mouth and nose. Secure the elastic band behind your head and breathe
I
normally.
forgot to say the runway.
It might
Oh well.
seem like the bag isn't inflating, but oxygen is flowing to the mask. If you're traveling with a child or someone who needs help, please secure your own mask first. After that, you can assist the other person. And please keep
There
your
he
mask on
comes.
until a crew member advises you to remove it. In the event of an emergency,
Wonder what he's flying.
please assume the bracing position. Lean forward with your hands on top
Let
of
me get a
your
peek
head
at
and
it.
your elbows against your thighs, ensuring your feet are flat on the floor. Life vests are located in a pouch under your seat between the armrests.
Aircraft running.
When instructed to do so, open the plastic pouch
the
and
outside
remove the
run.
vest. Slip it over your head and bring the straps around your waist.
And then
Adjust the
inside,
straps at the front.
departure.
To inflate the vest, pull
I
firmly on
will
the
keep
red
that in
cord
mind.
when
Yeah, it
leaving
looks
the
like an
aircraft.
Airbus 320.
If you need to refill the vest, blow
Yeah,
into
no
the
problem.
mouthpiece. Also use the whistle and light to attract
Getting
attention.
a little bit off course
Your
there.
seat bottom cushion can be used as a flotation device. Pull the cushion from the seat, slip your arms into the straps, and hug the cushion to your chest. Electronic devices like phones and laptop computers may be used only when the seatbelt sign is off and when permitted by the crew. Mobile phones must remain off throughout the flight. Remember that this is a non-smoking flight. Also, damaging the smoke detectors in the lavatories is prohibited by law. You will find all safety information in a card located in the seat
Wonder why he
pocket in front of
stopped
you.
on the runway.
It is recommended that you read it before we take off. If
Did he
you
just
have
log
any
out?
questions, please
Oh, no, I
ask
see him.
myself or another
He's
crew
down there.
member. We hope you enjoy your flight.
Some people do that. They just land and log out. Save a little time. You don't have to simulate taxiing all the way to your terminal stand. So.
Include two clips. Feature traffic, C number 26 Mike off is on a 10 mile final for runway 21 left feature tree.
This runway here, because it's the closest, should be receiving only departures outside runway for arrivals. So, Lima Bravo. No, I don't see anything, and I didn't remember what runway that last pilot said he was coming into. I don't see him coming this way, so we'll go ahead and prepare. We'll check our ailerons, rudder, elevator, engage parking brake. Throttle engines up to about 25%. Looks good. We'll go down to flaps 1 for takeoff configuration. Alrighty. Landing lights, strobes on. Just really trying to make sure nobody's going to be sneaking in on us like that. So. Alright. About traffic, Delta 778, lining up runway 27 right for Kitchen 2 departure. Alright. There we go. All right, everything is ready. Initial climb to, whoa. 10,000 feet.
Exactly.
Go ahead and throttle up for takeoff.
Hi.
That nose likes to come up right there for some reason. Not on every airport runway, but this one definitely. So just got to rotate up to 10 degrees. Holder. All right, we got positive climb. Gear up. Keep her above the runway. Throttle back to climb detent. Make sure it is. There we go. And flaps up. And engage autopilot. I've never used Unicom after takeoff. Just call out where I am. They know that I'm on the Cajun 2 departure. Slaw, Westsec, Cajun, STNGA. That's our transition. And then direct to to STNGA, and then our direct. All right, our regulations for this SID is climb and maintain 10,000 feet, 250 nautical miles per hour, as always, and anything below 10,000. But since we're at 10,000, we're still keeping it at 250. Done with our flight plan. What are you doing, dog?
Peachtree, C-number 26, Mike, all clear of 21 left, crossing 21 right, Peachtree.
Y'all give me 1 second while I take this dog downstairs. He's not supposed to be up here. I don't like him in my streaming room. You chews on cords and stuff, don't you? I'll be right back.
Peachtree traffic, C-number 26, Mike, all clear of 21 right, crossing 16, Peachtree.
Yeah, I love you guys. You guys got a good answer.
Peachtree, C-number 26, Mike, all clear of all active runway, taxi department via Alpha, Peachtree.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now acceptable to use electronic devices. When our cruising altitude is reached, the flight attendants will be stopping by with food and beverages. For now, relax and have a great evening. Enjoy the flight.
All right, we're back. Oh, my tuning's not too loud for y'all. All right, 10,000. As soon as we get this Cajun, we'll go ahead and begin our ascent to final flight level 380. Go ahead and put it in there. And I'm rocking the number back and forth, 11,000, 12,000. Because if you hold it, you set in there and don't initialize, it'll reset after a few seconds. So just to keep it in there. All right, we begin our east ascent. Blah. Everything looks good. Climbing at 1,200 feet per minute. Still on Unicom. Currently doesn't look like we have any ATC in Dallas-Fort Worth either, but you never know. Weird things happen on Sunday. We'll track with the arc view at 40 nautical mile range. I do love the fly-by-wire because they have a performance calculator for calculating your descent rate. So it'll keep tabs at your current speed. You'll put in your current altitude, your target altitude that you want to go to, maintaining a 3 degree descent angle, and it will tell you how far away you need to be from the target before you begin your descent. And then to know your how fast you want to descend, you take whatever your ground speed is, half it. So like if it's 340, it won't be at that point, but let's say it was 340. So half that's going to be 170, which would mean, and then you'd add like multiply by 10, so there's just an extra zero there. So it'd be 1,700 feet per minute. And that would get you down to that target level, target altitude, roughly about the right time. A few things can throw that off. If you have a strong tailwind, you'd probably knock, a good 10 minutes off of that time. So if it said, 100 nautical miles when you start your descent, you start at about 110 nautical miles because it's pushing you faster with that tailwind. Opposite if you have a headwind. And that's just if the tail or headwind is considerably strong. You always have some kind of headwind, but if it's over 40, which oftentimes it is, I always calculate a little bit of extra. Or at the same time, you can increase your descent rate. So instead of like 1,700 feet per minute, you drop down to 1,900. It would have about the same effect. 15,700. Long way to go. Total actual flight time on this flight is about 2 hours, 10 minutes. Microsoft Flight Simulator always seems to take longer. So it'll end up being more like 2 hours, 30 minutes. Not sure why that is. No matter how correctly I've flown the routes before, it just doesn't seem to matter. It's always shorting the time that it's actually going to take. So I don't think it's accounting at all for adjusting speed and all that kind of stuff. Might just be calculating like the maximum speed of the aircraft that you're going to be, you know, going just I guess the same way a GPS would do it. You know, it doesn't factor in all the red lights and the traffic and all that stuff. So driving somewhere that takes 20 minutes, might take you 25, 30, just depending on how many red lights you hit, all that stuff. So I guess, you know, if you want to just take off
18,000 feet.
no restrictions, no speed restrictions, and just hit the runway as fast as you can, your flight would probably be on time. Already past 18,000 feet. We'll go ahead and reset our altimeter, 2992. I fly with the Delta Virtual Airline. So we do run with smart cars running separately in another window. That's tracking the flight, so we get credit for it. Make sure everything is done correctly, and we safely land. That way we can turn our flight in and get credit for the flight hours and get paid. But there's also there's a little bit of a fluctuation in altitude between what it is in the game and what smart cars is registering. They're usually at cruise altitude. It is off 1,000 to 2,000 feet. So you might see me, you know, when we get up there and we level off, I might drop down to like 37,000, just so smart cars registers correctly. Let's go get our outside view. Not a whole lot to look at, but cloudless sunset and some moon action right there. And as you can see, my tail light went off. I have no wing lights whatsoever. The wing lights I can turn on manually, but the nav logo does not move. It's like, I don't know if it's a setting that I have, or, yeah, it's not my beacon. And the nav logo only wants to go up to 1 and not up to 2, so and then the mouse wheel has no effect on it whatsoever. So now we should have some wing lights, but that's it. I don't know what's going on with that. Should be synced to my nav light switch, so one of these days I'm going to have to go into the settings and check it out. I don't like pausing the flight simulator while I'm flying because bad things can happen. While you're paused, it's fine. You come out of pause and, you know, it could just really screw your plane up. Biggest issue is it'll all of a sudden just like drop your speed to almost nothing. Because if you're in pause too long, I guess it's just registering that your plane is going 0 miles per hour. And when you come out of pause, you're still going 0 miles per hour. So, avoid pausing the game in flight as much as possible. Alright, 22,600. We should have been climbing a little faster, I think. Nope, wrong one. Usually over 1400 we'll actually lose speed on our climb, so I just got to be careful and watch that. You can see it is just barely ticking down. Hopefully it'll stay. Not an issue. I think the minimum for this is 24,000 feet once we're on cruise. So as long as we're at 24, we are in accordance with the minimums, at least. Yourself? So we've climbed 14,000 feet from our initial SID up to 10,000. We need another 14,000 from this point, so it's like somewhere the end of Mississippi is where we'll actually be at our current flight level, or the flight level we want to be at. Alright, we don't need this map anymore, so let me get this out of your way and get a better view. Slightly diagonal headwind. Something went ding. Not sure what that was. Now, possibly just so we don't have another night flight, after we get to Dallas-Fort Worth, set up our second flight, I may switch it to daytime. If we don't have any ATC coverage, there's no reason to fly at night if we don't have to. I just try to keep it live as long as there's ATC online. That way all the information they're giving me is correct. I didn't realize the constellations were actually correct. There's the Big Dipper right there. I thought it was just random stars. Earth was correct. Alright, follow that Dipper out. This way. There's the Little Dipper right above my nose. Kind of turn it sideways. I wonder if we can see Orion. Is it above us? To me, Orion's always easier to spot in the sky than the Dippers, but I'm not saying it. Might be part of it over there. The horizon might be hiding half of it. Oh well. 36,000. Game showing 37,500 right now, so already about 1,500 feet off. So let me put it back at 37. We'll see if that works. If the flight attendants come on that they can move around the cabin, then the game is recognizing we're at the right altitude for our cruise. And once they do that,
Ladies and gentlemen, you may now unfasten your seatbelt and move around the cabin. The flight attendants are coming by with beverages and food at this time. Enjoy the rest of the flight.
All right. Seatbelt lights off. Yeah, to go ahead and bump it up. To 380 like we're supposed to be. Only showing Jacksonville Center on. Current speed, ground speed is 420